The weeks leading up to Ruby's wedding were filled with anticipation and excitement. My wife, Trinity, and I were eager to celebrate this momentous occasion, having spared no expense to ensure that Ruby's special day would be nothing short of magical. The wedding planner, a beacon of efficiency, had been our go-to person for all the intricate details. The day arrived when the wedding planner, a middle-aged woman with an air of professionalism, arrived at our home. She carried a clipboard, adorned with color-coded notes and timelines that captured the essence of Ruby's dream wedding. "Mr. Anderson," she began, her tone hesitating, "I'm afraid there's something we need to discuss regarding the guest list." A flicker of concern crossed my face, and I exchanged a puzzled glance with Trinity. "What's the matter?" I inquired, a sense of unease settling in. The wedding planner hesitated before handing over a meticulously organized list. "I received explicit instructions from Ruby regarding the guest list. Unfortunately, your names are not on it." Stunned, Trinity and I exchanged glances, disbelief etched on our faces. "Surely, there's some mistake," I stammered, my mind racing to comprehend the gravity of the situation. The wedding planner shook her head, her expression sympathetic but firm. "I double-checked, Mr. Anderson. Your daughter explicitly requested that you and Mrs. Anderson not be included in the guest list." The room fell into a heavy silence, the weight of those words sinking in. Trinity, usually the calm and collected one, voiced the question that hung in the air like an unspoken accusation. "But why Ruby? Why would she do such a thing?" The wedding planner, caught in the uncomfortable crossfire of a family's unraveling, could only offer a somber shrug. "I'm afraid I don't have the answers you're looking for. Perhaps it would be best to speak with Ruby directly." Trinity and I were left in stunned silence as the wedding planner made her exit, leaving us to grapple with the shocking revelation that our daughter had intentionally excluded us from one of the most important days of her life. The once joyous anticipation of the impending celebration now tainted by a bitter reality that we were struggling to comprehend. The revelation of Ruby's exclusion from the wedding list hung heavy in the air, casting a shadow over our home. Trinity and I, bewildered and hurt, found ourselves yearning for answers. The next day, with trepidation clouding our hearts, I decided to confront Ruby and unearth the roots of this unfathomable decision. I found Ruby at her apartment, surrounded by bridal magazines and the echoes of preparations for the grand day that was now tainted by an unspoken turmoil. As I entered, her gaze met mine, a mix of defiance and something more inscrutable. "Ruby, we need to talk about the wedding," I began cautiously, attempting to navigate the uncharted waters of our strained relationship. She sighed, an exasperated tone betraying the tension in the room. "If this is about the guest list, Dad, I've made my decisions. I don't want you and Trinity there." The bluntness of her words struck me like a physical blow. "But why, Ruby? What have we done to warrant such exclusion from your special day?" She looked away, her eyes avoiding mine, a sign of guilt or perhaps reluctance to delve into the painful past. "You've always favored Trinity, Dad. I never felt like your priority. And when I needed you the most, you took her side." My mind raced to decipher the layers of resentment that had built over the years. "I've always loved you, Ruby, but it's unfair to hold on to grudges from the past. We can work through this." A bitter chuckle escaped her lips. "Work through this? You don't get it, do you? You should have defended me, stood by me. But no, you chose her over your own daughter." Frustration gripped me, and I felt the weight of the years of miscommunication. "Ruby, I've always tried to do what's best for you. Trinity is my wife, and I can't change that. But I've never stopped caring for you." She glared at me, her anger palpable. "Caring? Is that what you call it? You let her replace Mom and expected me to accept it. And when I needed you, you were never there." The room echoed with the harsh reality of our strained bond. "Ruby, I can't change the past, but I've always tried to do right by you. Excluding us from your wedding won't fix anything." Her gaze remained unyielding. "Maybe not, but it's my choice. If you want to be a part of my life, you have to accept it." As I left her apartment, the door closing behind me with a resounding finality, the weight of Ruby's accusations lingered. the justification for her actions unveiled, leaving an indelible mark on the shattered remnants of our father-daughter relationship. The wounds inflicted by Ruby's decision festered, and the need for resolution clawed at my heart. A few days after the painful confrontation about the guest list, I found myself standing at the threshold of Ruby's apartment, emotions tightly coiled. As I entered, the air crackled with tension. Ruby, adorned in the trappings of wedding preparations, looked up, her eyes meeting mine with a mixture of defiance and an underlying vulnerability. "Ruby, we can't keep avoiding this. We need to talk," I implored, my voice a plea for understanding. She sighed, an exasperated acknowledgement of the impending confrontation. "Fine, let's talk, but I doubt anything will change." I nodded, the heaviness in the room pressing down on us. "I want to understand, Ruby. What did I do to deserve being shut out of one of the most important days of your life?" She paced the room, her movements mirroring the turmoil within. "Dad, it's not just about the wedding. It's about all those times you chose Trinity over me. When I needed you, you weren't there." I took a deep breath, attempting to bridge the gap between our fractured connection. "I'm sorry if you feel that way, Ruby. I've tried my best, and I love you more than anything." She scoffed, a bitter retort escaping her lips. "Love? If this is your version of love, I want none of it. You don't even understand how much you've hurt me." Tears welled up in her eyes, and for the first time I saw the vulnerability she hid behind her anger. "Ruby, I never meant to hurt you. I've made mistakes, but shutting us out won't fix anything." She glared at me, the fire in her eyes burning fiercely. "Maybe not, but it's the only control I have. You can't keep disappointing me if you're not around." The admission cut through me, and I fought to hold back my own tears. "Ruby, I'm your father. I may not be perfect, but I've always tried to do what's best for you." Her voice wavered as she spoke, a hint of vulnerability breaking through her tough exterior. "It's too late for that now. I've built a life without you, and I don't need you ruining it." The room was suffused with an overwhelming sense of loss, the tears in Ruby's eyes mirroring the ones threatening to spill from my own. "I can't change the past, but shutting me out won't make your future any brighter." Her gaze remained resolute, but beneath the defiance, I saw a daughter desperately trying to protect herself from the pain of a fractured bond. As I left her apartment, tears streamed down my face, mirroring the heartache that now defined our relationship. The weight of Ruby's rejection pressed heavily on my heart, and the sting of betrayal fueled a surge of anger within me. The following week became a battleground of conflicting emotions, culminating in a decision that would alter the course of Ruby's much-anticipated wedding. In a fit of frustration and resentment, I picked up the phone and dialed the number of the wedding planner, my voice trembling with determination. "Cancel everything," I commanded, the words carrying the weight of a decision made in the crucible of betrayal. The wedding planner, a voice of reason in the chaos, hesitated before responding. "Mr. Anderson, are you sure about this? It's an elaborate event, and canceling last minute will have significant repercussions." I clenched my jaw, the fire of retaliation burning fiercely. "I don't care. If she doesn't want us there, she can have her wedding without any of it." The days that followed were a whirlwind of cancellations and reimbursements, a systematic dismantling of the carefully planned celebration. Conversations with vendors and the venue echoed with the bitterness of my decision, each cancellation a bitter reminder of the fractured relationship with my own daughter. Trinity, my steadfast supporter throughout this tumultuous journey, voiced her concerns as she witnessed the repercussions of my actions. "Are you sure about this, Richard? Retaliating won't fix our relationship with Ruby. It might make things worse." I turned to her, my eyes reflecting the turmoil within. "Trinity, I can't just stand by and watch her celebrate a day she deliberately excluded us from. This is my way of saying she can't dictate the terms of our relationship." The day before the planned wedding arrived, and as the final cancellation was confirmed, a cold sense of satisfaction mingled with the guilt that gnawed at my conscience. The venue, once adorned with the promise of joy, now stood as a testament to the consequences of a daughter's betrayal. As I looked at Trinity, her eyes filled with a mix of concern and empathy, I couldn't shake the internal conflict. I know this might not fix things, but I can't let her think she can hurt us without repercussions. Trinity placed a reassuring hand on my shoulder. "We'll get through this, Richard. Whether Ruby realizes it now or not, she needs her father. Let's hope she comes to her senses before it's too late." The looming void of the canceled wedding hung over us, a stark symbol of the retaliation in the face of betrayal. As the day of the wedding dawned, the consequences of my decision would unfold, leaving a fractured family to grapple with the aftermath of a tumultuous confrontation. The morning of Ruby's anticipated wedding arrived with an eerie quietness, a stark contrast to the jubilation that should have permeated the air. As the sun began its ascent, I couldn't escape the weight of the decision I had made. The cancellation had thrown the carefully orchestrated plans into disarray, and chaos loomed over the once promised celebration. The wedding venue, now void of the laughter and joy it was meant to host, stood as a silent witness to the aftermath of my retaliation. The decorations, the flowers, and the carefully chosen details, all rendered meaningless by the cancellation. Vendors arrived, only to be turned away, their frustration mirroring the tumult that churned within me. The wedding planner, a bearer of unwelcome news, approached with a furrowed brow. "Mr. Anderson, the security at the venue is refusing entry to the caterers and decorators. They claim the event has been canceled." A hollow sense of satisfaction mingled with guilt as I responded, "That's correct. Ruby made her choice, and now she has to live with it." The wedding planner sighed, the weight of the situation evident in her eyes. "This is going to be a logistical nightmare. The security is asking for confirmation, proof of the cancellation." "Give them whatever they need," I replied tersely, my resolve unwavering. As the morning progressed, chaos unfolded at the venue. The security, now aware of the canceled event, faced the challenge of turning away vendors and guests who were unaware of the drastic change in plans. Trinity, a silent observer to the unfolding chaos, voiced her concern. "Richard, are you sure about this? Look at what it's doing. It's not just affecting Ruby. It's affecting everyone involved." I met her gaze, torn between the righteousness of my actions and the consequences unraveling before me. "She can't just shut us out, Trinity. This is her wake-up call." The venue, once filled with anticipation, now resonated with confusion and disappointment. The caterers, decorators, and florists, their livelihoods entwined with the success of this event, were met with rejection. The chaos I had unleashed took on a life of its own, a tempest that threatened to swallow the remnants of a once-promised celebration. As the wedding planner scurried to resolve the logistical nightmare, a sense of unease settled over me. The consequences of my retaliation were not confined to Ruby alone. They rippled through the lives of those who had invested time and effort in creating a day meant to be a celebration of love. Trinity's voice, a steady presence in the chaos, offered a reminder of the human toll. "Richard, I understand your frustration, but maybe there's a better way to handle this. For everyone's sake." The weight of her words settled on my shoulders, a heavy burden that left me questioning the true cost of my retaliation. The chaos unleashed, a consequence of a daughter's betrayal and a father's retribution, now threatened to consume us all. The day of the canceled wedding descended into a surreal realm of emotional turmoil. Determined to shield myself from the potential onslaught of Ruby's anger, I took preemptive measures. With a heavy heart, I blocked her number, ensuring a temporary barrier against the barrage of accusations and frustrations that would inevitably follow. As I sat in the quiet confines of my home, Trinity observed the toll this decision had taken on me. "Richard, do you really think this will help? Blocking her won't make the pain go away." I sighed, the weight of my actions settling heavily upon me. "I just need some space. Trinity, I can't face the wrath of her disappointment right now." Trinity's expression softened with empathy. "But what about the future, Richard? Avoiding her won't solve anything. We need to find a way to mend these bridges." I nodded, acknowledging the truth in her words, yet reluctant to face the reality of the fractured relationship with my own daughter. Meanwhile, news of the canceled wedding had spread like wildfire. Friends and relatives, initially anticipating a joyous occasion, now faced the abrupt revelation of its demise. Calls and messages flooded in, demanding explanations I was not ready to give. My parents, initially disapproving of the canceled wedding, now reached out with a mix of concern and understanding. Richard, we're worried about you and Trinity. Is everything okay? My mother inquired, her voice laced with genuine concern. I hesitated, grappling with the words to convey the complexity of the situation. It's a difficult time, Mom. I just need some space to figure things out. She sighed, a mother's intuition sensing the depth of the turmoil. Don't shut us out, Richard. We're here for you no matter what. Yet, the decision to block Ruby wasn't just a measure of self-preservation. It was an attempt to maintain a semblance of control over a situation that had spiraled out of hand. As the hours passed, the silence of the blocked calls echoed the growing chasm between father and daughter. Trinity, recognizing the fragility of the moment, spoke with a gentle insistence. Richard, blocking her might give you a temporary reprieve, but it won't solve the underlying issues. We need to confront this together. I met her gaze, a conflicted acknowledgement of the truth in her words. I know, Trinity, but right now, I need time to process everything. The house, once filled with the anticipation of a joyous celebration, now stood as a fortress against the impending storm. The decision to block and bar felt like a desperate attempt to shield myself from the fallout, yet deep down, I knew that true resolution would require facing the storm head-on. In the aftermath of the canceled wedding and the decision to block Ruby, the weight of my actions pressed relentlessly on my conscience. Trinity, my unwavering source of support, observed the toll this emotional turbulence had taken on me. Richard, you can't keep shutting her out like this. Blocking her won't make the underlying issues disappear, Trinity insisted, her concern etched in the furrow of her brow. I ran a hand through my hair, frustration and guilt battling for dominance within me. I know, Trinity, but the pain is still too fresh. I can't face her disappointment right now. Trinity, with a gentle touch, urged me to confront the reality of our fractured family. Avoiding the issue won't solve anything, Richard. We need to find a way to mend these wounds before they become irreparable. Her words resonated with a truth I was reluctant to embrace. The sense of control I sought through blocking Ruby's calls crumbled in the face of Trinity's insistence on addressing the root of the problem. As the evening unfolded, a knock on the door heralded the arrival of a familiar face, Trinity's sister, Emily. Concern etched her features as she surveyed the somber atmosphere within our home. Trinity told me what happened. Are you okay, Richard? I sighed, the vulnerability of the situation laid bare in Emily's perceptive gaze. I don't know, Emily. Everything's a mess and I don't see a way to fix it. She took a seat beside me, offering a reassuring presence. Sometimes the first step is acknowledging that things are broken. Only then can you start to rebuild. Trinity, standing nearby, added her perspective to the conversation. We can't change the past, but we have some control over the present. Richard, you need to talk to Ruby, and not just through blocking her calls. I nodded, the internal struggle evident in my expression. The guilt of canceling Ruby's wedding and the subsequent decision to block her festered, a relentless reminder of the fractures in our once unbreakable bond. The phone, lying on the table like a silent accuser, taunted me with the unanswered calls and messages from Ruby. Trinity, sensing the inner turmoil, spoke with gentle insistence. She's your daughter, Richard. She deserves a chance to be heard, even if the conversation is difficult. Emily chimed in, offering a perspective rooted in empathy. It's never easy, but sometimes facing the discomfort is the only way to find resolution. She might be hurting too, in ways you can't fully comprehend. Their words resonated, prompting a reluctant acknowledgement of the truth. As the evening unfolded, the weight of my decisions bore down on me, pushing me to confront the consequences of my actions. The road to reconciliation, fraught with uncertainty, loomed ahead, demanding a willingness to face the discomfort and address the fractures within our family. As the echoes of the canceled wedding reverberated through our lives, Trinity and I found ourselves at a crossroads. The decision to block Ruby, once seen as a shield against the storm, now felt like a barrier preventing the healing we so desperately needed. One evening, Trinity sat across from me, her eyes reflecting a shared concern. Richard, we can't keep avoiding this. Ruby needs both of us right now, and we need to present a united front. Her words lingered in the air, the weight of parental responsibility settling on my shoulders. The realization that our actions held the power to shape Ruby's perception of family compelled me to reevaluate my approach. I know, Trinity, I just don't want to make things worse. I admitted, the guilt of my previous decisions still lingering. Trinity reached for my hand, her touch a comforting reassurance. We won't make things worse by being there for her. We need to show her that despite our differences, we stand together as parents. The following day, we decided to lift the block on Ruby's number, signaling a tentative step toward open communication. The phone, once a symbol of avoidance, now held the potential for reconciliation. When Ruby's call finally came through, Trinity and I sat side by side, ready to face the inevitable storm of emotions. "Dad, why did you block me? What did I do to deserve this?" Ruby's voice carried a mixture of hurt and anger. I took a deep breath, attempting to navigate the delicate terrain of our fractured relationship. "Ruby, we need to talk. Blocking you was a mistake, and I want to understand why you felt the need to exclude us from your wedding." There was a brief pause, tension hanging in the air like a fragile thread. "You don't get it, Dad. You've always favored Trinity, and I needed my wedding to be about me, not about your second family." Trinity, sensing the need for unity, spoke up, "Ruby, we're both here to listen. Your dad and I want to understand your perspective, and we want to find a way to move forward as a family." Ruby's voice softened, a hint of vulnerability breaking through the anger. "It's not just about the wedding. It's about all those times you chose her over me. I needed my dad, and you were never there." I swallowed the lump in my throat, the weight of Ruby's words hitting home. "I'm sorry if you felt neglected, Ruby. I never intended to make you feel that way. Let's talk about how we can heal from this." The conversation unfolded, each word a tentative step toward understanding and resolution. It became clear that the fractures ran deep, but the shared commitment to rebuilding our family offered a glimmer of hope. As Trinity and I navigated the complexities of the conversation, a newfound sense of parental unity emerged. The journey toward reconciliation was far from over, but the decision to face the discomfort together marked a crucial turning point in our efforts to mend the bonds that had been strained to the brink. In the aftermath of the reopened lines of communication, Chapter 9 unfolded with a heavy sense of anticipation. Ruby's voice, a mix of resentment and hurt, echoed through the phone as she poured out the grievances that had festered over the years. "Dad, I can't just forget everything because you unblocked my number. It doesn't erase the years of feeling like I was second best," Ruby expressed, the wounds of the past laid bare. Trinity, ever the mediator, responded with empathy. "Ruby, we understand that healing will take time, but we're committed to making amends and finding a way to rebuild our relationship with you." The silence that followed seemed to stretch endlessly, each moment pregnant with the weight of unresolved conflicts. Finally, Ruby spoke, her voice tinged with a mixture of resignation and defiance. "I don't know if I can ever forgive you, Dad. The canceled wedding, the blocked calls, it's too much." I sighed, the admission of my mistakes hanging in the air. "Ruby, I never wanted it to come to this. I wish I could go back and change things. All I want is for us to find a way to move forward." The conversation shifted, emotions ebbing and flowing like an unpredictable tide. Ruby, grappling with the pain of perceived neglect, recounted instances where she felt abandoned in favor of my second family. "I needed you when Mom left. I needed you when things got tough. But you were always with Trinity, leaving me feeling like an outsider in my own family," Ruby confessed, the vulnerability in her words cutting through the defenses I had erected. Trinity, acknowledging the reality of Ruby's experiences, offered a sincere apology. "Ruby, I am truly sorry if my presence ever made you feel neglected. That was never my intention. Your dad and I want to find a way to make amends and support you." As the conversation neared its end, a heavy silence settled in, a tangible reminder of the work that lay ahead. "I need time," Ruby admitted, her voice a weary whisper. "I can't promise forgiveness, but maybe we can work towards some kind of understanding." Trinity and I exchanged a glance, a shared acknowledgement of the long and uncertain road that stretched before us. "We'll give you the time you need, Ruby," I assured her. "We're here whenever you're ready to talk." The call ended, leaving a lingering sense of unresolved tension in the air. Trinity, always the voice of reason, spoke with a measured optimism. "It's a small step, Richard. Rebuilding won't happen overnight, but at least we started the journey." As the chapter concluded, the wish for peace hung in the air like a delicate hope. Unforgiven yet cautiously optimistic, our family stood at the threshold of a challenging but necessary path toward understanding, healing, and the elusive possibility of reconciliation.